If a street thug walked up to your girlfriend, slugged her in the stomach, threw her over his shoulder and walked away with her, you'd probably go after him, right? Of course you would. But would you fight your way through countless gang members, hoodlums, and ne'er-do-wells across 4 treacherous levels of punishment just to get her back? Only if your name is Billy Lee and you wear a blue ensemble of ass-kickery. This is the premise of the first truly great side-scrolling brawler, Double Dragon. By no means the first game of the genre, it was the one to propel thug-trouncing action games into huge popularity. It's important to note that we're specifically talking about the NES home version of the game and not the arcade game. Now, this was a time when arcade games were infinitely more impressive than anything you can play at home. As the arcade machine was devoted to running nothing but Double Dragon, it had much more processing power, which allowed for prettier thugs. The other huge difference between home and arcade versions is the 2-player mode. While in the arcade, Billy and Jimmy fight alongside each other with a total of 8 limbs of fury, the NES port worked more like Super Mario Bros. With alternating turns. And both players controlled Billy, which kinda took the double out of Double Dragon. But I suppose alternating dragons, or wait your turn and hope that your friend dies quickly so you can play Dragon, didn't really have the same feel as just sticking with Double Dragon. It does, however, have an amusingly terrible 2-player versus mode. This mode had larger sprites for all the characters. It was always a mirror match though, and relatively bad anyway. It basically came down to who could jump kick with the most effectiveness. I'm not gonna lie though, seeing a real fight in which the opponents could only jump kick would probably be the coolest match ever. The NES version utilized an early experience point system which allowed you to increase your fighting prowess as you progress through the game. Beginning with the most basic moves, you go on to learn the headbutt, the roundhouse kick, uppercut, jump kick, hair pull, body toss, pin attack, elbow, and the mega roundhouse kick of super pain. In addition to your deadly arsenal of flying kicks and punches, you're also able to pick up and use weapons foolishly dropped by your enemies. Ah, enemies. Where would a hero be without villains? Behind a desk in a 4x5 cubicle underwriting insurance policies, probably. Fortunately for Billy, however, he has the whole Black Warriors street gang to keep him busy. Though, due to the limitations of the NES back then, he only actually had to deal with 2 thugs at a time. And they were always the same character. This leads me to the conclusion that the Black Warriors are the largest conglomeration of ill-tempered twins in the world. And I, for one, don't mind. I mean, what's better than a woman in purple spandex with a whip? 2, my friends. 2. Though relatively straightforward, Double Dragon can be a little frustrating at times. The first couple stages being relatively easy, then getting exponentially harder for the second half of the game. It sure would be easier with your brother Jimmy helping you out. Say, where is Jimmy this whole time? Well, I'll tell you. After beating Machine Gun Willie at the end of the game, the true mastermind is revealed. Jimmy! He totally wanted your woman from the beginning. Besides, he wears fuchsia. Kick his ass and reclaim Marion as your sweet, sweet prize. Upon completion, go ahead and feel like a badass.